All right.
Okay, I'll be okay. Or tell me when you're starting so that way I won't
I
accidentally
already
talk over
started.
you.
I already started. We're good.
Well,
Fat
well,
bastard
shit.
coming at you again with an exclusive one-on-one with Miss Rebecca. What's your last name?
Meeker. Meeker.
M double M E. Okay. Meerkat. Meerkat. That's what she said. Okay.
Kinda, actually. I've actually never put that together. Like meerkat, meeker. I guess kind of. I don't know. My actual last name is kind of an oxymoron because I am not a meek or mild person at all, like how my last name says. So I always thought that was funny.
Meek means yeah. Meek. Wait, doesn't meek
Yeah,
mean
like
weak?
mild mannered. Yeah,
Mild mannered. I thought it was
yeah,
like
like to be meek. Like a mouse is meek, like quiet, stays out of the way, tries to stay more hidden. Yeah,
oh,
like that.
okay, but that's not you. Okay, I think
I
I knew
mean,
that.
yeah, that's not like me at all.
Bitch, get out the way. Get out the
Get
way,
out the
bitch. Get
way.
out the way. All right, so I have a few selfish personal questions to ask first, and we might not have enough
Okay.
time for the deeper where you talk a little bit more about yourself. This is more like personal, but also speaking for other females, the relationship
Oh, okay.
dynamic
Sure,
stuff,
sure.
and we'll eventually get, if you want to, we'll talk more about your past and your history here, and talk a little bit more about that. But starting first, how do I
Mhm.
put this? Mm,
Just be blunt. I don't care. You know I don't care.
I know. I'm trying to organize my thoughts here.
I see.
All
I
right.
thought you were trying to say I don't know how to put this because you didn't wanna offend me.
No, no. If I
That's
had,
what I thought you were trying to go for. I'm like, "Oh, I don't care. Say whatever you want." I don't know if you've noticed, I really am a no fucks given kind of person, or at least for the most part. I mean, unless there's, like, something that's really, like, not about that, but I'm pretty much like, I don't care. You can say whatever. It's not gonna offend me, and if it does, I'll tell you if I don't like it. Anyways, sorry, I ramble. You're gonna have to cut me off sometimes. Go ahead. Go ahead, podcast
so
host. What you got for me?
modern, our age, our demographic relationships, and
Mhm.
what do you have to say about dating apps?
Like, just my experience on them, what I think of them, or, like, what you want first?
So, what do you think the effect is on dating apps, or by the effect on modern relationships because of the
Well,
dating apps?
I think it takes away a lot of the mystery of meeting people in real life, especially since most dating apps you can connect like your Instagram or your Spotify, or some people will put like their Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat handles in their bio. So it kind of is just asking to like, it's kind of volunteering a lot more info than what you would normally do, which I feel kind of people will look at that and it'll kind of deter them versus seeing just a general view and then learning versus like making your own assumptions just from the info that they've tried to give you ahead of time. Um, so I definitely think social media wise, it kind of puts a damper, but also at the same time, it can be a pro because some of those people, because you know opposites attract, there might be people on there that you would have never run into in real life because their interests are different than yours, and it kind of gives you an opportunity. And so it has its pros and cons. I would definitely say, in regards to the fact that I've used dating apps in two different states, like kind of my experience in California versus my experience in Texas. Um, I would say California, it's a lot more self-centered. Like, a lot of people are really just trying to meet people. Like, they're just putting all of their info out there just because I think it's more of like a popularity or I just want attention thing. But Texas people I've seen, at least from what I've seen on there, they actually have some substance. I mean, obviously there's fuckboys, but yeah, I would say there's pros and cons to dating apps. Just, but it also depends on what are you on the dating app for, because everyone has different reasons. So yeah.
So, have you been on dating apps for hookups, long-term relationships, or friendships, or what were you looking for?
Um, well, it's varied over the years. I definitely would say uh the main reason would be like actually looking for a date, like a boyfriend, not just dates. But there was the time that I had my quote unquote hoe phase that I really just was meeting people and kind of went into it with the expectation of, oh, this probably isn't going to turn into anything, but they're cool, so I'll hang out. And actually, surprisingly, some of the people that I've met on dating apps, even in California, that really were more just hookups that we never officially got together. We would like I still talk to some of them as friends, and it's not weird. But primarily looking for a relationship, but sometimes it's the double standard of people staying on dating apps that they're like, "Oh, well, I'm looking for a relationship," but then after 2 or 3 dates, they're like, actually this isn't what I want." So, it's kind of hard at the same time to know if the person you're matching with is actually what you want versus something else. So yeah, I guess a multitude, but mostly actually looking for dates.
And when you say dates, you mean long-term boyfriend.
Yeah. But also, it's kind of hard because I don't even really know what that is. Because the longest relationship I had was, like, an actual relationship where I was, like, boyfriend and girlfriend, had met their family, was, like, 4 or 5 months. Because people, um, in Texas, I have not had a actual committed relationship with anyone in Texas. Like, no official titles, no, exclusivity. So, it's still kind of up in the air of what am I like, I don't even sometimes know what I'm looking for since I haven't had that experience in the past. But that is the goal, but actually achieving that goal over the years has been difficult. Do you like my
So,
vagueness that I said before?
so match. We'll talk about match volume first. Are you purely hetero, homo? You do bi?
Oh, I'm a cisgender female that is, I would say primarily straight, but of course, into the spectrum, there has been, like, I would say I lean more towards a straight heterosexual relationships, but I have had, um, not relationship. I have had like moments and feelings for other girls too. So I wouldn't consider myself bi, but I would definitely say that I because I don't see myself in a relationship with a woman, but I definitely have had crushes and stuff, if that makes sense. But it's hard because it's a spectrum, so I don't know exactly how to say it, but primarily, like, pronouns wise, she, her, cisgender female, I identify as a female, I biologically am a female, but in regards to sexuality, I would primarily say, um, a cisgender heterosexual woman.
Okay. So with that, on your dating apps, you've just been communicating with other mostly straight males, right?
Yeah, I have dated a couple of bisexual guys in the past, but so far in Texas, which also it's Texas is more of a conservative state, even though Austin is definitely a little bit more liberal and a little bit more open. Most people on there identify as heterosexual males. So primarily yes, but I have dated uh, bisexual guys before.
So in your experience, Are most guys you've talked to on the dating apps just looking for a pump and dump one-time thing?
Um, kind of. At least in California, that was most of it. But it also depends on the app. Different apps, like people have different expectations. Like for example, Tinder is like it's known for mostly hookups because really that's what it is. It's just someone looking for a quick fast kind of weekend, just something to do kind of thing. Bumble, I would say it's like 60-40. Like the 60% of are people who are just looking for something casual or short-term relationship or don't want anything serious. And then there's a small amount of people who actually are looking for relationships. But 20% of that 40% are people who say they want relationships but refuse to commit. And Hinge, I would say with the like that is more for people who are actually looking for something more serious and long term. I think that's also because with Bumble, it's the whole swipeability with Tinder and Bumble, the fact that you can just quickly swipe through back and forth, it kind of adds to the uh what's the word? Not fast pace. Uh the indispensableness. Like, oh, this girl can be here and then she's not. Oh, with Hinge, you actually have to like a certain picture or a certain prompt. Like, you can't swipe back and forth. You actually have to scroll through. So a lot of people are definitely more thoughtful on that one. So I would say the guys on that app are more looking for relationships or something serious, and people that are on swiping apps are more looking for something casual, like the ratio on those definitely leans more towards people who just want a casual, like, quick thing.
Is Bumble more like Hinge or Tinder?
It's more like Tinder. I mean, it's giving like the girl messages first. That's really the only difference between Tinder and Bubble is that the girls message first. It's still swiping through. It's still like the first impression of the first photo. People like their like bios really aren't really anything. People don't even sometimes put stuff. The fact that the matches run out after 24 hours, so it kind of is just like people are dispensable. Really, Bumble definitely tries to market it as, oh, girls have the power, so it's actually more meaningful and girls will get what they want. But really, it's just like Tinder, except the girl just messages first. So, and most girls on there don't even use something clever. They'll say, hey, just so they match with the person and then expect the guy to message first. So definitely Bumble is more of the Tinder type.
All right, moving along in your
Okay.
hookup phase, your hoe phase, what made you, and I'm sure all of 0.00 viewers want to know this, what were you looking for in the profile, in their looks, whatever? What specifically made you match with the people you matched with?
Well, part of that time is I was hooking up with people that I worked with, because I worked at places where it was a lot of people my age, so it was really easy to kind of like meet guys and then you'd hang out and you'd like get to know each other at work and then like hang out outside of work kind of thing. So 'cause that was when I'll drop where I worked. I worked at Studio Movie Girl and I was a server there. So there was people in like their 20s. And then I went to Top Golf and Top Golf, a lot of like 20 somethings. And this was back in like between 2015 to 2017, like those kind of years. Um so I would say two-thirds of it were people from work and a third of it were people on dating apps. And the dating app part, it was more of like if I actually could have a real conversation with them because it wasn't just like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. You want to hang out? Like actually having like a conversation about common interests. Definitely was something. And also like, I mean, if we really want to get like really superficial, I mean, obviously pictures definitely play a part. Being able to pictures of you can actually see their full face if they actually write more than like 5 words in their bio. Um, which really that's how low my bar is this, "Oh, can I if I can actually see your face and if you actually attempt to try, maybe I'll match with you." But, yeah, it was more of really 2/3 of it during that time was people that I worked with, and then friends of people that I worked with that I had, like, met through them kind of thing, or, like, if I had met at a bar or a party and started talking to them. So which now I have learned, don't mix work with pleasure, but at that time, I didn't care.
So most guys would say, and I've read this on Reddit r/Tinder or whatever the fuck, rules one and two.
Okay.
You know rules one and two, right? You don't know rules one and two?
What do you mean?
So rules one and two. Rule one, don't be no, rule one is be attractive. Rule two, don't be unattractive.
I know, I did not know that. When you were saying rule, I thought of okay, this is just gonna show how immature I am. I thought you were gonna say, like, Rule 34, and I was like, "Oh, that's what they talk about on the Tinder subreddit? Okay."
No, they probably do.
You know what that is?
Yeah, Rule 34 is it's the porn like of everything. Everything on the internet's porn, or everything that exists, there's porn of it or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the Wikipedia of porn, essentially, yeah.
And it's just pictures,
I feel
right?
like
I
that's the best
think
way to yeah, pictures and GIFs, but no videos. At least not that I have seen before, but who knows, they might have updated it.
there's this fucking have you heard of Doll E? Wait, you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
talked
the
about
AI
yeah,
generator.
you guys I remember when we hung out, someone was talking about it. Someone was like showing pictures
It
from
was
that shit.
me.
It was you, okay. So
Yeah,
I
no, it
feel
was me,
like
I was the one that brought it up.
I feel like Dolly's probably all over Rule 34 making whatever the fuck, and everyone's just downloading it
Oh,
to
bro, there's stuff that would probably be on Rule 34 that's on Twitter. That's at least in my uh discover part. Yeah, no, I've seen yeah. People can get wild with that. But the biggest thing um I think it's like an AI, it's like a government rule that you're not allowed to have AI generated like real people. So if people try to type in like celebrities or musicians or politicians, it that's part of the reason why their faces are always so distorted is that legally they can't have AI generate real figures unless it's like a historical figure or like a like something that would be like a textbook. But I think that's because, at least from what I've seen of people trying to post, like, oh, so and so with Sonic in a submarine, or like, I don't fucking know. But you won't actually see the people's faces.
that makes
But
sense.
anyways, I completely backtracked. You were talking about Tinder and subreddit. What were we talking about from there?
So I mentioned rules one and two. Be attractive,
Yes.
don't be unattractive. And I'd asked you about what made you want to match with the people you matched with in your whole phase, just want to hook up with people. And
Hmm.
you mentioned mostly just people you knew, but the people you didn't know, you talked a lot about their message game, if they you can have a conversation and you can see
Hmm.
their face. But
Well, yeah, so elaborate from that is you have to there's a couple of rules, at least in my mind, that I look for in someone's profile. One, you can see their whole face in at least one photo. Two, there is at least one photo of them not wearing a hat because that changes it. And three, if all of your photos are you and someone else, no. Like, come on. Pretend like you actually have a personality and that you don't rely on other people to make your personality and post a picture of just yourself solo. So those are also things I look for. Like if a guy is either in a photo with a whole like if he does not have any solo photos, that just shows like he's taking photos from events. He's not really like trying to show himself. It's more like, oh, you're gonna date me and my friends versus just dating me. And then the whole not wearing it, or one photo of you not wearing a hat, or also sunglasses. If every single one of your photos has sunglasses, like, bro, what are you compensating for? You're trying to look cooler than you are? No, no. Um, So those are definitely like on the attractiveness side, those are things I do look for in a photo because that just kind of shows that you're like trying to hide and not be confident in yourself, like other people who and also smile. Like don't be all of your serious like faces. Like have a smile. Like no I don't want to be looking at like a grumpy old man photos if I want to like otherwise I don't know. Those are things that I would look for. At least overall.
So attractiveness. What I know everyone has preferences,
Mhm.
but let's say stereotypical movie star Hollywood attractiveness, like abs, blonde hair, whatever, chiseled face. That doesn't do it for you. It's more about all the things you've talked about.
I would say like percentage wise, um 30% looks, 70% personality, and if they and humor. Like you know me, I definitely am a very like sarcastic, like I would say humorous. I don't want to call myself funny because like obviously I make myself laugh, but that's just me thinking I'm funny versus other people thinking I'm funny, and I don't want to be self-centered like that because sometimes I feel like also if you're like, "Oh, I'm so funny," like you're overcompensating because you actually aren't. But if it's someone can actually like keep up with my humor and like can make me laugh and can also is like can carry a conversation, that's honestly like would make someone a lot more attractive to me.
Okay. And would you
Mhm.
say other girls you know share your opinion, share your how that works, how they feel? Do they you think they share your feelings?
Um, California girls, no, they go more for looks. Texas girls, well, honestly, I don't really know because I haven't really had conversations. Because really the only Texas girls that I've known since moving here were coworkers. So I didn't really talk to them about that. So honestly, Texas wise, I don't really know. But I definitely know California girls were really more look like they look definitely more for look and most have like a specific type. So if they see one thing that doesn't fit into their type, they will swipe left or they will unmatch with them. So like they have a strict guideline and if you don't fit it, you're not in. Like they have no sense of uh not wonder, but like I guess experimenting as in not like trying something different of liking someone versus just going with the same type of guy every time. So that's what my I guess with others, but also I I could be completely wrong too.
And are you generalizing all of California from what you know, and what part of California are you specifically from?
I'm from like I guess you would consider it northern slash central California. So I'm from Sacramento. So I was 2 hours away from San Francisco, 2 hours away from Tahoe. So I was kind of in the middle of California. So, but definitely more northern. Like Southern California was like Los Angeles and all that. It was like 8 hours away from. So that part wasn't close at all. But so I would say Northern California more.
Yeah. You think Southern California is mostly the same? There's no exceptions to that rule?
I mean,
Like,
I don't know because I've never really like known people at that time there. I mean, obviously, media and pop culture would make it seem like people in Southern California because of the stigma, they only look for looks and aesthetics in profiles. Like that's kind of what media tells us and like Instagram and all that, but I don't know. Maybe part of the reason we don't know the exact answer is because people who are actually just looking for or looking more for personality don't post it as much. So we just go off of the amount that we see. So people who are looking for looks post more, so we see that more. So that's what we associate.
I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of my personal flavor, my personal
Of
experience. I
course.
think it's interesting that you say you care a lot about the non-physical properties when you ultimately just end up fucking once or hooking up once or whatever. You might hang out once or, hang out, do whatever and not actually
Mhm.
fuck, but if I'm looking for purely just sex, personality really doesn't do anything, in my
Well,
opinion,
I
for
think that's
me.
also the girl mindset is that you don't wanna feel like you're just I mean, that's just me personally. Some girls, they don't like, they're just like, "I'm just here to get in, get out, get my rocks off, and that's it." I mean, I don't and also it's I think it's also, like, safety-wise, I guess, for a girl, like, you wanna actually have somewhat of a connection with, like, someone, so you know that they're not just gonna, like, be all gross and everything. So I think that at least for me, that's part of it is like even on dating apps, I don't give out my number to a guy. Well, at least I've learned this from previous. I don't give my number out to a guy until like I've been talking to them consistently for like 2 or 3 days because I, I don't want random people having my info. But I'm like trying. Actually, did I do that during the? Yeah. So because also yeah, I guess that's kind of the girl mind is that most girls want some type of connection or some type of conversation instead of just rushing straight into it. So that way they can kind of feel more secure in the situation, like they have more control of it. So,
Okay.
if
I
that makes
can
sense. If
I
I
can
ramble
understand
and it doesn't make sense, please tell me because, yeah,
that.
my
Thank you for
brain don't
doing this,
work as
by the way.
good.
I know.
Oh, I don't care. Well, yeah, I used to be. I mean, when I was on the radio, obviously, like we didn't talk about this kind of stuff because it was a top 40 radio station. So really, it was more like talking about pop culture stuff. But um, I am very open, and I because like it's kind of at least for my brain. Why would I not like? Why would I hold back? Like, what's the point of holding back? Because like I don't know. Obviously, if it's personal, like I'm like secrets wise, but I'm just kind of like like, why not talk about it? Like, what's it like? Is it gonna kill you to talk about it? Is it gonna like break your heart? Like, why not just be open and talk about your experiences and enjoy hearing about other people? Like I never understood why people like actually I don't want to talk about that, and ask like why. Because I don't want to. I just don't like talking about that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Personally, I am not that person. I am a very open person, and I would say 98% of the time, you ask me something, I'll answer it. So
Fear of judgment. I don't want to be judged and judged harshly, and my friends won't like me if I talk about something
I
they don't
think
agree
that's
with.
also. I think part of the reason why I'm so easily like open and vulnerable and honest is, I mean, if we really want to get into it, part of my ADHD, the fact that I'm so hyperactive that like sometimes I speak before I think. And then, of course, like once I say it, it's out there. So it's kind of like, oh, actually, you know what? I don't really want to talk about this, but I've already said it. So I think that's part of it too. Um, and then also, uh, but from well, back when I was younger, I definitely was probably didn't have the best social skills because of the ADHD because I didn't learn really because I was diagnosed later in life. I wasn't diagnosed young like most people are. So a lot of it was I the way I interacted with people growing up as I was so like happy and like not really aware of situations. So I just would talk about random shit and be open. Um but and I was also trying to have friends, and obviously when you try to have friends with or try to make friends in different types of groups, you kind of talk about different things with other people. So I think kind of the accumulation of all of that became, oh, we'll just talk about anything. So, like, I don't know. I used to live a people pleasing childhood, and now I'm kind of at the point where I don't know. I just don't care anymore. Maybe that's why I don't have friends or relationship. I just don't care anymore. I'll say whatever I want.
Hey, don't give a fuck, squad. Welcome, welcome, welcome a new
Basically, I
member.
mean, according to the first episode, I am ranked as least bitch. So
Did I say
on
that?
the scale of who, oh yeah, it was in the very beginning. I remember because I was so flattered. You said because you were talking to Michael about how he's on the lowest because he's most bitch, but on the ranking you said that I was tied for first as least bitch, as in like I'm not a bitch about things. So I was very honestly, I was honored that you said that.
You got some big balls on you. All right, bigger than Mike's.
Really?
And
I'm.
shit's so the abortion miscarriage thing. We'll talk about that later. We'll get more in detail if you want to talk about that more. But
I mean, not really because that involves someone else. But basically, the moral. I'll just talk about it really quick, really right now. So, uh, the person, and this was also the person that the situation happened with was someone that I was not in a relationship with, so that was part of it. And because of that, when I found out that I was pregnant, I was not in a relationship or dating this person. So I basically dealt with all of that myself and didn't tell the person until after the fact because that person had started talking to other people because we weren't together, which and I didn't want to be like go be like, "Hey, I know we work together kind of, but now that you're talking to someone else, oh, actually like I'm pregnant." But and this all I guess the timetable uh end of the end of the month that um had sex. A month later, found out I was pregnant. 3 weeks late because I 3 weeks later when I was supposed to go to the doctor, a week before that happened is when I had the miscarriage. So I was only about like 6 weeks along when it happened. So it was so early on that since I hadn't gone to the doctor to confirm that I actually was versus like a home test, I hadn't told the person about it. And then the miscarriage stuff happened. And then I went to the doctor and they're like, yeah, that was actually what it was. So that way, after the fact of all of that, like going through all that, is when I did tell the. Ugh, I don't want to say the word father because that sounds so weird, but I told the other person. Um, so they didn't know about it all until basically it was over. 'Cause I didn't because that person I don't like what's the I don't the contributor. How about that? We'll say that. I don't want to say father because that's weird, but the contributor was seeing someone else, and I didn't want to be like, "Hey, think I'm pregnant. Don't know for sure. Oh, not pregnant anymore. False alarm. Go ahead and keep to or like because if they were seeing someone and saying all that, they would probably stop seeing that person, and then I'm like, oh, actually, false alarm. Not pregnant anymore. You can go ahead and start talking to that person again. Like I didn't want to do that. So I didn't tell that person until after the fact. So non-abortion. I guess you could say I had a natural abortion because my body did it for me. So, which probably is a very like crass way of saying it, but yeah, there you go. Quick summation of it.
I appreciate you shared that. You have a lot of my admiration.
What
Not
can I
you.
say? I'm least bitch. I'm gonna it's literally if I ever get if I ever have a plaque, that's what it's gonna say. Rebecca, least bitch, or like that bitch, but least bitch. You know, be like, oh, Becca, she's that bitch right there, which I am. I'm that bitch, but I'm also like least bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like you sound like a kid that's like, let's go play on the merry-go-round.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. I
But yeah,
the
that's also part of the reason why I'm like, I went through this, I've processed, it happened, I'll talk about it. I don't care. I'm like, part of processing things is also talking about it too, so why not? Also, sorry if I'm making a lot of noise. I accidentally scratched my arm and started bleeding, so I had to go to my linen closet and get my band-aids, and I had to find a cool one. So I have an Avengers band-aid on my arm right now, and I feel like a badass.
yeah,
Yeah!
got some damn Wolverine
That's
claws. How the fuck do you scratch yourself?
no, actually, it's, Shuri from Black Panther and Ant-Man on the same Band-Aid.
You must have some sharp ass nails.
Uh, kind of. I have my fake nails on. I wanted to look nice because I went on a date last week and I was trying to look fancy, but now I just have fake nails on.
Ooh, you got the stripper nails, or you got the office worker nails,
No.
or you got the
Think about, like this, like an almond that you would eat, like that, but kind of like if it was a short, stubby almond versus like a long, skinny almond. So like me, or like a shorter, stubby almond versus like a long, tall, kind of skinny almond.
wait. Did you just call yourself a stubby almond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. That's our tagline. Fat bastard and stubby or
Stubby
what I say?
almond. Stubby
Yeah, there you
almond.
go. Fat bastard and stubby almond. There we go.
You you heard
That's
it
the name
first
of the
here.
episode.
You heard it here first, folks. Zero viewers out there. Imaginary
It's
guy
a
stuffing his
audio
face.
platform. There's never gonna be any viewers unless we
Look,
actually stream.
look. I'm
I can't
uploading.
look. It's an audio platform.
Shut the fuck. I uploaded a video to
Yeah,
Vimeo,
that's true.
okay? And it's
You
got
did. That's yes,
audio.
of yourself with playing RuneScape. That's true. That's true.
So
That's right. I
it doesn't
watched it.
have to
Even though
be
I was there, I watched it too.
same.
Because I'm an ally.
An ally. What is this? Black Lives Matter? Fuck.
It's all the lives. Well, it's not all lives matter, but it's Black Lives Matter and all the other things.
Okay. Well,
So it's not all lives matter. It's Black Lives Matter, but I'm also an ally for other things that matter.
right. Glad you put that
Just
out
wanted to
there.
make that clarification. I'm definitely Black Lives Matter versus all lives matter because not even trying to get into that or the whole blue lives. Like, not, bro, like, as a, okay, this might be controversial. Some people, like, people talk about minorities, and, like, obviously, cis white males are definitely like, they are the majority, and basically everything else can be considered on a scale of minorities. Technically, I guess, even though I am a white female, I definitely, versus other minorities or ethnicities, I definitely have it. Like, I definitely have it better, which sounds shitty to say, but I am at least going to be open and honest and realistic. But so, as a minority junior, as in like the light version, like, but like LITE. I mean, obviously, I'm light skinned because I'm white as well, but like the minority light, LIT, like Bud Light, I'm a minority light where I kind of get it. But like, where was I going with
You're losing it.
oh, because I wasn't trying to associate with the people who do all lives matter because I am very aware that there are other lives that have not been considered as mattering as much. That's where I was going with it. It's not that all lives matter, it's that humans matter, but some lives have been held to matter more than others, and that's not good. That's where I was going with that. Is that as a woman even if I am a white woman, I guess I am definitely not my life. Like, well, of course, with the whole Roe versus Wade thing, my life does not matter that much anymore. But obviously, there's other ethnicities and minorities that have had it worse than me. So that's where I was going with that. I kind of rambled because I kind of got lost. But moral of the story: fat bastard, dumpy almond. I'm an ally.
I am Stubby Almond may be an ally, but I am not. I follow no movements, not on social media. I'm not out here on the streets. I'm not at your local newspaper or your coffee bar. I'm not at your local arcade. I'm not at your courthouse. I'm not at your Supreme Courthouse. I'm not at your political meetings. I'm not at your powwows. I'm not at your smoke room. I'm in your living room watching Netflix. So this has been the Fat
They're not.
Bastard Show coming at you
Whoa,
with Stubby
whoa.
fucking Almond.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Fat bastard. I'll be featuring. I won't be the main title. It could be Fat Bastard featuring
Stubby
Becca or
Almond.
oh, here we go. Becca Stubby Almond Meeker. There we go. That's my tagline right there.
Wait,
You can
what?
put
Say
that
that
in the
again?
episode notes. Oh, I was saying I'm Rebecca Stumpy Almond Meeker.
Rebecca Stumpy or Stubby? You want to be.
Well, which one sounds better? I feel
I've
like
been saying Stubby.
Stubby.
Like Stubby
Yeah, no,
Shotgun.
Stubby.
You don't say
Yeah, yeah.
Stumpy
We'll
Shotgun,
go with
right?
Stubby.
All right, Stubby
We'll go with
Almond.
Stubby. Yeah,
Rebecca
Stubby
Stubby
Almond
Almond
Meeker. There we
Meeker.
go. There we go.
Do you have an actual middle name?
I do.
Let me guess. Is it Alberta? Alberta.
No, it is not Alberta. I'm not from Canada. What is wrong?
Wait a minute. What's wrong
No,
with Alberta? What do you got against Alberta? Albertians.
nothing. I'm just not Canadian, so I don't know why you would think that would be even close to my middle name.
Is it is it Vancouver?
No, it's actually Nova Scotia.
That's a good one. That's a good
Thank
fucking. I
you.
was gonna say Quebec or
Um,
BC or British Columbia. Or...
Ontario. Um, I don't think Regina is an actual territory. I just know it's a city. Definitely city.
Have you seen the show Letterkenny on Hulu?
I've seen episodes. I haven't watched it like completely, but I do know of it, and I know it's in Canada.
I think you love it. I think that's your kind of humor. I might be wrong, but
No, I will love it. Well, it's kind of a little dry for me because the monotoneness of their voices, which I know is part of their characters, but so yes, but no. Like I'm
okay.
more of a I would say I would probably I lean more towards a it's always sunny type of humor versus a Letterkenny kind of humor.
So what was the first thing? It's you have a what kind of humor?
Oh, I was saying my humor more leans towards like it's always sunny
Oh,
in Philadelphia.
I haven't seen that.
I've
Is that
only seen a
on?
little bit of it, but I know that well, it's also because I basically I watch the same. Well, and also Justin and I, we both have very similar humor because we both are literally like diehard fans of Whose Line Is It Anyway. That's also basically like my humor because I don't really have jokes. I'm kind of just humorous in the moment. I think that's also part of the reason why I am very open because like my humor is just in the moment. I don't like have jokes or things.
Wait, you said you and Justin are fans of what?
The show Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Whose line is it?
Christopher, do you not know the show Whose Line Is It Anyway?
You said line? I haven't heard anything
Yes,
like that.
Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's a show from late 90s, early 2000s where it's a basically like an improv stand-up show. It was on ABC. Um, okay, it's amazing. I'll send you a couple videos of it, but the tagline is Whose line is it anyway? Where everything is made up and the points don't matter. So basically, like, everything that they do in the episode is on the spot improv and not premeditated, and he, like, jokingly gives points to people, is like, "Oh, that was good, 10 points for you," but the points like, there's no actual scoring system or anything. So basically, it's just improv show, but kind of a little bit more structured because it's a TV show. So, yes, Justin and I literally have had fights about that show because we would quote it, and one person would be like, "No, it was this thing. No, it was this thing." So, no, he and I have literally had fights in a good way, like not like that. Yeah, we've definitely had heated conversations about that show because we love it so much. Yep.
Fucking have you watched The Boys?
I've seen a little bit of it. It's not. I mean, I know y'all have talked about it. I know enough about it. And I've seen a good amount. I just haven't watched the newest season. Um, I have other shows that I'm working through. I'm working through. They finally released season 6 of Peaky Blinders. I've been going through that. I've been watching some true crime documentaries on Netflix. I uh, I've been rewatching Batman the Animated Series, and what else have I been watching recently? Uh, I just started season 2 of Only Murders in the Building because I love Steve Martin and Martin Short. They're fucking hilarious. And plus, honestly, my most used streaming like form is YouTube. I watch so much YouTube. It's kind of crazy. Like I pay for YouTube Premium because I watch it so much and the ads bother me.
Yes, yes. We are good friends now because originally I thought YouTube sucked, and since I've been watching it almost exclusively or more on my TV than my PC, on my Apple TV,
Mhm.
I was like, there's no
Mhm.
way. I even, before I paid for premium, I actually tried a little bit of a workaround with its software called Pi-hole. It's a DNS filtering application
Interesting.
that runs on router firmware, and I had to purchase a separate board to connect to my router to serve as a DNS
Mm.
server to filter out ad requests. And it actually doesn't
Mhm.
work for Google because Google changes, they rotate out their ad servers. So there isn't an easy way
I
to
mean, that's
block.
smart for them, so I get it.
Yeah, good for them, but ultimately it just cost me, what is it, like 15 a month. But it's
Oh, really? That's stupid. That sucks. I um so I've used